What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Sports Talk with Bros podcast. The NBA. The finals just ended. Toronto had the parade. Kawhi Leonard, they did their thing. And bang, boom, instantly, a Woj bomb. Anthony Davis to the Lakers. It happens like this. It happens like that. The snap of the fingers. So much drama. You see the drama in Golden State and the injuries, and oh my God, did Toronto really win? And already, we're on to a new topic. Already, there's so much talk around this league. Drama. And I'm here for it. We're going to take a look at this Anthony Davis trade. We're going to talk more about it. The Lakers, the Pelicans, where do they go from here? We're going to take a look at some free agents. And I'm not a big speculation guy, but we'll talk about it. We'll take a look at some of these free agents for this class. And the draft. The draft is this week already? Already? How do we get to this point already? It's unbelievable. Time flies by. It really does. Time flies by. But let's have it. Let's hop into this thing. So we went over this a little bit on my recap video, my short recap video on YouTube, about how the Lakers acquired Anthony Davis, the Pelicans get Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, 3 first-round picks, and that's including the 4th overall selection. There's some pick swaps involved, too, down the road, which can come back and bite the Lakers, potentially. Potentially. Here's the big news, though, that came out a day later than the Woj bomb. Everyone assumed, including myself, that the Lakers would have a spot for a max contract still to attract another free agent. Whether it was Kemba Walker, Kyrie Irving, Jimmy Butler. But here's the news. According to Woj, the deal will be official on July 6th. And because of that lowers the cap from $32.5 mil to $23.5 mil. So that's a big difference. There's a kicker. Anthony Davis can waive his $4 million trade bonus to help the Lakers get to about $27.5 mil. So Anthony Davis can help the squad, but he has to decline $4 million. Well, for us, non-athletes, it's easy to say, just do it. Just do it. You make a bunch anyway. Just do it. It's not that easy. Don't get me wrong, though. The Lakers can still go out and get to one. They can still attract players. There's a few that are on my mind, and maybe they don't go out and get the big dog. Maybe they don't go out there and get that superstar. But what if they fill their need with someone like Tobias Harris? They need shooters around LeBron. They need shooters around AD. What if they go out and sign someone like Tobias Harris, JJ Redick? They fill that money they have in the salary cap with not superstars, but they fill them with nice players, really good players in this league. Let's be real, they're not scrubs. You fill that with a Tobias Harris, a 4 that can stretch the floor, who can shoot. Honestly, as a Sixers fan, I look at that piece and say, that's a pretty decent fit. Same with JJ Redick. You can look at a D'Angelo Russell. You can look at pieces like that. So maybe they don't go out and get the Jimmy Butler. Maybe they don't go out and get the Kemba Walker. But they can still build this roster nicely if they do it the right way. Everyone's looking at the Lakers and saying, they gave up so much. What are they doing? They did give up a lot. And from the Pelicans' perspective, they were losing Anthony Davis anyway. So for someone you're losing after next year, yeah, you got a nice return. And I know these guys are young, but I think they have ceilings. And that's okay. I'm not knocking them. But I don't see the Pelicans winning a championship because of Brandon Ingram. Nice player. I think he has a ceiling. My personal opinion, Brandon Ingram has a ceiling. He's been in the league for a nice little bit now. Not 15-year career, but he's been in the league enough to experience it. And I just haven't seen that extra push from him. Hey, you know what? I can say all this, and I've been on the record saying this before about other athletes. When you get moved to this degree, when you get traded and you feel like you've been almost disrespected, that can change your outlook and change the way you train in the offseason and change the way you come back. And because of this trade, Brandon Ingram can have a different mentality and become a different player. That would have never happened if he stayed in LA. But from what I've seen so far, Brandon Ingram, nice player, has a ceiling. Josh Hart, nice player, nice bench role player. And listen, these are key important pieces, and I'm not knocking the Pelicans for their return. People are screaming that the Pelicans are going to be better than the Lakers and make the playoffs and make a run because of Zion. I don't know if it's going to be to that degree. At the end of the day, when you look at all their pieces, Lonzo Ball probably has the most upside for me because he might be able to turn into something nice if he can figure out his offensive game. Because he plays good defense and he sees the floor tremendously. And piecing it together with Zion. Listen, I'm not knocking the Pelicans. But they gave up a lot. They did. A lot of pieces. But these players, they weren't going to make the Lakers win. These players here that they gave up, they weren't the difference makers if the Lakers were going to win a championship or not. Not with where LeBron is in his career. It comes down to how the Lakers go from here. This is a fantastic first step. It is. It depends on how they fill out the rest of their roster. I think the Lakers did what they needed to. Now, the one thing that might suck from a Lakers fan is you knew this guy wanted to come to you, right? You knew this guy wanted to come to you. So why go out there and move 90% of your squad and a little bit of your future for someone that at the end of next season might want to come here? And not might, he did. He did want to come here. You can argue that there's potential that maybe the Celtics or the Knicks swooped in, and there's reports saying that if he did go to the Knicks, there's a chance he would have re-signed there. So I get it. There was a little bit of competition. So just go out and get your guy. You can use the same thought process as the NFL and the quarterback. If you see your guy, just go get your guy. Don't worry about what it costs to go get him. Don't worry about this and that. You see your quarterback, go get your quarterback. Well, the Lakers saw an opportunity to go out and get a major star to help LeBron James. Go get him. Go get him. Do you trust the upper management, the front office members? Do you trust these people to be able to get the job done and build the rest of this team? You can't be having the Lance Stevensons and the Beasleys of the world. That's not going to fly. You're going to have to go out and get legitimate players. But maybe this cap thing that occurred, maybe the difference in cap due to the date that it is official on, maybe that's a blessing in disguise for the Lakers. Maybe they go out and get 3 nice, solid players over the one star in the weak bench, and maybe that benefits them. Shooters. That's what they need. And they need legitimate shooters. Once again, not Lance Stevenson. They got to get good players. Now, are they ready to win championship now? Everyone's freaking out. Oh, the Lakers are going to win the title. We did the same thing last year when they just acquired LeBron. Oh, they're going to win the finals. I'm not ready to go all out and say that yet. But when you look at the Western Conference, Golden State and their injury problems, that's a factor. There's no insane dynasty threat at the top. What are the Houston Rockets? They're ready to blow up. They're ready to make everyone available. They're ready to trade people. The Denver Nuggets were there this season, but they're a team where they made a nice run, but are they dead serious of a team? Are they an actual big threat? Portland, nice pieces. They got swept by Golden State in the Western Conference Finals. Can a LeBron James beat them? The window for the Western Conference is there now. The setup for the next couple seasons, it's going to be interesting. Because right now, it doesn't look like there's that dynasty. And that's how the NBA has been over the last 5 seasons with Golden State. It's open. It's up in the air. And that's why the Lakers doing it now. It makes a lot of sense. Now, there's reports out there that the Lakers are interested in Kawhi Leonard. Well, of course. Who wouldn't be? But does Kawhi seem like the guy who's actually going to go join that team? He just won with Toronto, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, Danny Green, Marc Gasol. And listen, I'm not knocking those guys. Good, nice pieces. They're not LeBron and AD. I don't think Kawhi's the type of guy that's saying, yeah, I'm going to go up with them. I'm going to go join them. If anything, he might be the guy to say, ooh, I'm going to go to LA and go to the Clippers. Play with Doc. Play with Landry Shamet. I'm going to go join that team. I'm going to go play against them in the same exact city. And beat them. And beat them. So sure, the Lakers are interested in Kawhi. Of course. Why wouldn't they be? Everyone should be. But I don't see Kawhi Leonard joining that team. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't know what he's going to do. See, I told you, I'm not a big speculation guy. I hate the speculation game. Of course, there's some things that, like Kyrie Irving and the Nets situation. All right, I think there's enough information there for me to believe that that's probably the most realistic option. Is it a definite? No. But I think that there's enough there for me to agree that that's a solid possibility. But I can't go out there and say, and look at some of these players and just say, well, he should go there, or he should go there, or he's going to go there. I wait for things to happen. That's how I do it. It's fun to look into some things and enjoy conversation. There's definitely situations where I enjoy branching out more than just waiting for it to all happen. But for the most part, just wait and see. You drive yourself crazy if you're emotionally tied to what one player is going to do. And yeah, I might be subtweeting here some Sixers fans on Jimmy Butler. Just wait and see. But I will say this, and I'm using logic and facts, because LA doesn't have that max contract offer now, it gives Jimmy Butler a little bit more, focus on the Sixers because we have that money. We have the ability to do it. So if I use speculation, I use facts. Lakers can't offer him that money. We can. And that's a game changer now. But anyway, back to the Lakers real quick here. And I love LeBron James. If you didn't know that, I am a LeBron Jamesman. I'm a fan of his game. You're not going to see anything like this ever again. And 8 straight finals. He truly is remarkable. And I feel like he's going to be one of those players. And it's sort of like Golden State. And it's honestly sort of like anything in sports. You hate him, 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 you hate him. His career ends. Holy hell. He was amazing. I wish I appreciated him more. No, that's not me because I loved him, 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 I loved him. But for the general basketball fan, I feel like there's more haters than lovers when it comes to LeBron. There's a lot of LeBron lovers, but there's also a lot of LeBron haters. And it's one of those things like Golden State where you despise them all 4 years, and then here's the 5th year, and people are starting to love them again and appreciate it now that it looks like the dynasty has going away. LeBron James last year had a tough season. He got injured. And listen, it's not like he's been injury prone for his entire career here. He's been healthy a lot. He takes care of his body. He's been on a remarkable run in general when it comes to availability and being able to play at a top level throughout his tenure here in the NBA. He had a incident last year where he had to sit out. Now, I'm going to say this. He sat out more than he probably would have if he was in contention. There's no denying that. I think he realized 8 straight finals. I tweaked a little bit of an injury here. We're on the Lakers. We're starting to fall apart. We're not going to make the playoffs. I'm just going to sit this out. I'm just going to sit this out. Whether you think that's right or wrong, I feel like that's how it went down. He realized, all right, this team's not in the best position to win. He played a little bit here and there down the stretch and said, okay, you know what? It's done. It's over with. My body has been through a lot of finals. You're watching these players with the Golden State Warriors. You're watching their bodies fall apart. Fall apart. Because of the length of time they went to the finals every single season. So much basketball. LeBron did it for 3 more seasons. 3 more. My point being is, what I'm trying to get at the end of the day is, I don't think LeBron James is done. I know he's mid-30s now. I understand that. But he has treated his body throughout so many years now with the most insane care, knowing that he wants to play into his mid-30s and late 30s at a high level. I'm pretty sure you've seen the reports over the years. He puts in millions and millions and millions of dollars every year just for his care, just to take care of his body. From what he eats to recovery. It's insane. I don't think he's done yet. I know his game and his play is aggressive, downhill, goes hard to the rim, and that puts a lot of stress on your body compared to just being a guy who shoots the 3 and stands there, like Kyle Korver. This guy's just a different breed, though. This guy's a different breed. He's amazing. And I don't think he's done yet. And I hear all these arguments, well, if LeBron needs help, he's not good anymore. Kawhi's the best player in the league. If LeBron needs help, if LeBron needs AD, he's not good anymore. Stop. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm not denying that LeBron is getting older in his career. My personal opinion, I just don't think he's done yet. I don't think he's done yet. Whether he's got 2 more years or whatever the case may be, I don't think he's finished. I think he's determined now. Last season might have made him determined. Whew, that was ugly. That wasn't what we expected. I came to LA to win. I came to the Lakers to win. Let's see how it all plays out. I am absolutely 100% intrigued. But let's flip over to the Pelicans. I talked about them briefly, and I think they have a nice crew here. Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, the 4th pick, which I still think they're going to move. I even heard some news that maybe him and Lonzo Ball and the 4th pick might be packaged together because at the time of the trade, they were trying to find a 3rd team to bring in another player. Maybe they try and move Lonzo Ball and the 4th pick. I don't know. Julius Randle, though, did not pick up his player option. He declined it, and he's hitting the free agency market. So that's interesting. They're going to be a nice, fun team. With the first-round picks that they got back from the Lakers, they're in a nice spot. They really are. They're in a nice spot where there's a future. You can look ahead and say there's a game plan mapped out. They have structure moving forward. And they have a GM that knows what the hell he's doing. Let's be real. He's done a good job in the past in other organizations, and he's doing a hell of a job right now. You can see the blueprint laid out. And that's the biggest A+ of it all. And it's not just a structure that isn't solid. You got some nice pieces around it. And Zion Williamson, the biggest hype there is, it makes it even sweeter. Now, with Zion for me is, I think he's going to need adjustments. He's a weird size, because what is he in the NBA when it comes to position? He's a little thick. I think he's going to have to figure out what is he going to play. His athleticism can compete in the NBA. There's no denying that. I don't think he's going to come into this league and be it instantly. I don't think he's going to come into this league and just be this big dog that takes over all over the place. He's super young. And I'm not comparing this to his game on the court, but even during the NBA lottery where they were picking the lottery numbers and seeing who was going to draft who, the camera was in his face and he's geeking, he's smiling, he can't even keep his composure. He's a young kid is what I'm getting at. And I'm happy for him. It made me sit there and say, man, this kid is so happy. He's cheesing, he's smiling, the camera comes, he hides his face because he's so excited. But he's raw. He's raw. It's the best way to describe it. He's so young. It's not just going to happen overnight. He's got the potential to be this star. But he's not going to walk into the league and be an instant. I think he's going to be a good player in this league, without a doubt, with potential to be a superstar. But to expect it instantly, and I don't know if people are doing that or not. Maybe people who don't follow basketball and just hear the name and hear all the hype and hear the Duke thing just assume it's going to be that way and assume him to be LeBron James. But that's not how it's going to be. Not right off the bat, I'm saying. And it's funny how, as NBA fans and people who follow basketball, how come everything's got to be, who's the next LeBron? Who? How come it has to be, who's the next LeBron? Why can't it be, who's going to be the next, who's going to be a great player? Why can't it be that? Why can't it be, who's going to be a great player? It has to be, who's going to be Kobe? Who's going to be Shaq? Who's going to be LeBron? Who's going to be the next Michael? Why can't it be, who's going to be a great player? Who's going to be a superstar? That's how it should be. But we always got to compare. There's always got to be a comparison. And I always get into the LeBron, Michael Jordan argument because I'm a LeBronsman. But I always say I never watched Michael Jordan in his prime day in and day out. Right? So that's fair. I always say that. All around game, and I'm not getting into this discussion. I think it's LeBron James, but whatever. I'm not getting into this discussion. But there's always a comparison between people. And I get it. It's barroom talk. It makes it fun. LeBron, fantastic. Great. Going down as literally a debate against Michael Jordan for the rest of his career. LeBron was great. Michael Jordan was great. Kobe was great. Shaq was great. Why can't they just all be great? Let's dive back into the Pelicans, though. From the Pelicans side, they have a blueprint, they have a structure, and they're going to be a fun team. I think they're already ahead of the Phoenix Suns, and they're rebuilding. They have a young, fun team, too. Mikal Bridges, Booker, DeAndre Ayton. They got a young team. I look at the Pelicans, though, and I think that they're a little bit ahead of them already. Bang, just like that. Now, when you have a superstar like Anthony Davis to trade away, yeah, it might be easier to speed up the process due to the fact you're going to get a ton of assets. Yeah. I'm going to hit you with a hot take. I'm going to hit you with a hot take right now. But I'm not just saying this just to say it. There's a little bit of me inside, not a little bit, a lot of it, that believes this. Booker is a little bit overrated. A little bit overrated on the Suns. And here's why. He scores a lot of points. He does. 70 points, 60 points, 50 points. This guy goes off. But they lose by 40. They lose by 30. They lose by 20. The other team gave up at one point because they know they're up so much. They put in their bench. The Suns give him the ball, just shoot the ball every single time. And when you're up, when you're the other team, you're not defending to an elite level. You're not defending in the elite level to begin with in the NBA during the regular season, but you get my point. Booker, his numbers are flawed based on the team that he's on. Now, if he goes to a good team, is he going to be able to score and produce? Absolutely. Absolutely. If he's on the Sixers, not dropping 70. If he's on the Lakers, not dropping 70. If he's on Toronto, not dropping 70. Not dropping 60. Not dropping 50. As much as he is. It's flawed and skewed because of the fact that the team is getting blown out so much. The other team isn't playing to the intensity that they would. Their bench players might be in. And no one gets hyped to go play the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns just give him the ball to shoot a bunch. It wouldn't work the same way in other places. Now, is he a great player? Absolutely. I think he's a great player. I think he's overrated a little bit, though. That's all. And I believe that. That's not just a hot take to be ridiculous. And that's why you won't see it in the title in this video or anything. I feel about that, though. I feel that way. Would I want him on the Sixers? Absolutely. Don't blow this out of proportion on what I'm saying. But I don't think he drops the same number of points and plays the same way and shoots that much on any other team. on a team that's competitive. Because the other side's more competitive. Who they're playing up against is more competitive. Who's on his team? The distribution's different. He's not dropping 50, 60, 70 points on every team. All right. Let me get that out of the way. A little sidetracked. That's okay. It's a nice Monday morning. Wake up, coffee. Talk sports. You know me. If you've been following this podcast, you know me. It's nice and simple. You wake up early before work. You make your coffee. You drink your coffee. You come down in the basement and you scream about sports. You scream about the hot topics. That's fun to me. That's entertaining. And speaking of entertaining, this free agency class. You got Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker, Klay, KD. Those two are very interesting now because of the injuries. Kawhi, Boogie, Julius Randle, Danny Green, Middleton, Bogdanovich, players like that. Obviously, that there's a difference in these two people, in these two categories. You got the stars, you got the nice pieces. But it's going to be interesting to see where everything goes. It is. Like I said, not a big speculation guy, but I think Kyrie might be going to the Nets. With Jimmy, I don't know what's going on, but Philly right now seems to be in control when it comes to having the money to go out and get him. Having the money to spend for him compared to other squads. It seems like Philadelphia has a good chance of getting this guy back. Kemba Walker claims he loves Charlotte. He wants to be in Charlotte. He wants to play in Charlotte. And he wants to bring them to the next level. And keep in mind that money, though. The money he can sign there is something else. Something else. Money talks. Money talks. Kawhi Leonard. Who knows with this man? Who knows with this man? Toronto, he wins a title. Does winning the title hurt the Raptors fans? He did his job. He did his job. Now it's easier to leave. But if he lost, it's, wow, I have that extra motivation. Does he just go to LA? Now, this guy's a weird dude. You really can't tell anything. You can't read signs. And his personality, I've been intrigued by it throughout the finals and throughout the playoff run. Is it good, though? Is it good for the league to have someone like Kawhi Leonard? Don't you need more personality? Now, I'm not knocking him. All right? I guess I'd rather him be that than totally obnoxious. And you can argue, well, bro, that's Joel Embiid. And yeah, I guess, but Joel Embiid's a fun-loving obnoxious. He trolls, he makes fun of himself, but he's not an asshole. Let's go as far as that. When I'm saying obnoxious, I mean asshole. He doesn't go to that level. Kawhi Leonard's so boring, so blah. Of course he showed emotion when he won. Of course he showed emotion with that buzzer beater against the Sixers when he's in the corner and he's screaming and his face is at in a picture where I never would assumed I'd see it at. But you just had Kawhi Leonard win an NBA championship. Nothing. There's just nothing. Nothing. There's no personality. And how bad is that? How bad is that? On the outside, you can take a look at it and say this. Well, you listen. Goes through it. Goes through the motions. Works hard. Comes back from injury. No bullshit policy. Gets the job done. Works hard. Wins the championship. On to the next one. All business. Why does there have to be personality? Come on. It adds something to it. It adds something to it. I'm not knocking Kawhi as a guy. I think off the court to his teammates, I'm sure he does have personality and they love him to death. But as a fan, I want to see that. I want to see a little bit more. Is it good for the NBA for Kawhi Leonard to have nothing? To have no emotion? Imagine Joel, and listen, I know this is one extreme to the next, but imagine Joel Embiid winning a title. Imagine Joel Embiid with the trophy in his hands and afterwards and going all crazy, going all fun. It's sort of like this. Alexander Ovechkin winning the Stanley Cup. That's a great comparison. Partying, getting hammered with the cup, sleeping with the cup, just doing obnoxious things every day. It added to it. It built more with the whole story of Alex Ovechkin winning his first cup and the Caps winning a cup. With Kawhi winning it, it's cool. He won it. I saw a video yesterday. It was Serge Ibaka talking to Kawhi in the car for 4 seconds. There was nothing to it. I saw it and I thought, oh, wow, this is going to be something of Kawhi having some fun. Nothing? At the end of the day, I know this means nothing. Doesn't matter if he's loud and obnoxious or not, or quiet. Just very interesting. Very, very interesting. And is it good for the NBA for him to be like that? Maybe it is. Maybe it's so intriguing. Maybe it's so out there. Maybe it makes everyone question so much, who is this guy? That it ends up being a positive for the NBA. The draft. The draft is already here, and it's crazy. The draft is here this week. We know Zion's going to go 1. Ja Morant is on the table there for 2. RJ Barrett at 3, and then everyone says that there's a drop-off from there. You have DeAndre Hunter, Culver from Texas Tech, Garland from Vanderbilt. I don't know too much about his game, but he's a player that everyone is high on. Kobe White, Cam Reddish. And I heard Keith Pompey over the weekend, and he was talking about the draft, and specifically the Sixers, and it looks like we're going to go with an older guy who's ready to go now more than a younger prospect, a guy who's been in college a little bit longer is what we're looking at, who can play defense, who can shoot the basketball. Then we're looking at a backup center, early second round, but I'll get into that into a more Sixers overview. But one thing he stated was, listen, at the top, there seems to be 3 players who can really turn into stars in this league. But there's a lot of good players. A lot of good players in this draft. And everyone always looks at the stars and not the good players who can still help teams succeed. Now, I think Zion's going to be amazing. I do. I think he's going to be an amazing player. It's just going to take time for it to happen. Ja Morant, this dude's special. And I laugh. New Orleans and Memphis, really? During the NBA lottery, you have the Lakers, the Knicks, who's going to win it? New Orleans and Memphis? My brother lives down in New Orleans. He plays the piano at a Doing Piano Bar. So I texted him when the trade went down, AD. What's it like down there? What's going on? Now, he's not a big sports fan like me, but he follows it. A lot of people who are sports fans go down there and go to his bar, so he sees it, he feels it, he definitely understands it. No one cares. No one cares. And that ties with the point of New Orleans, they get the first overall pick to Zion Williamson. No one cares. Maybe it's because their team name's the Pelicans. Maybe it's because they play out of the Smoothie King Center. No one cares. He claims they're a football town, which they are. But no one cares about basketball, and they're getting the first overall pick. It's unbelievable. Memphis has more of a fan base, if you will, I'd say. They have a respectful, passionate fan base. And Ja Morant's going to be a nice player there. The Mike Conley situation's dying out. Ja Morant's going to be a player. And I think RJ Barrett's going to be a nice player too. The Knicks are all over the place because they wanted to go after Kevin Durant. And does Kevin Durant do that still and sit out and rehab? Does he pick up the player option for the Golden State Warriors and chill there for a year with that medical staff while he rehabs the Achilles and then hit the free agency market after that? Does he re-sign with the Warriors as a whole? There's so many question marks with the Knicks, but I think regardless of what they do, they're going to have a nice player in RJ Barrett. I think he's going to be able to produce. He's going to be able to be a nice shooter. He's not going to change the franchise. He's not going to take over the franchise and lead them to the promised land. But if they end up landing a free agent at some point here, he will be a nice piece to help this team down the line. So I think those 3 players are great. I do. But that doesn't take away from what I think DeAndre Hunter can do. And right now it sits that New Orleans has the 4th pick, but I do believe they move it for more pieces. They're not gonna, I'm not gonna say they're going tank mode, of course not, with the talent that they have, but they're going with the Sam Hinkie model of acquiring a lot of assets. Now it would be hard to pass up on some of these guys, and realistically, other teams may actually get something out of this. Because teams like the Hawks, the Bulls, teams that tanked and didn't get to where they wanted to get, well, they can either trade up and go after a guy they want, or if New Orleans picks they don't pick a guard because they have Lonzo Ball and because they have Drew Holiday, where now that's a guard that moves down on the list, and some of those teams can maybe go after and get them. So this can help other teams. Phoenix, Atlanta, Chicago. Or they say, screw it, let's move up and go get our guy. I've stated, go get your guy is a good approach in sports. Go get him. And from there, you make sure he turns into the guy that you want him to. But go get him. But after 3, there claims to be a big drop-off. But I think that there's a lot of solid pieces in this draft that can help teams win. That can help teams go out there and produce. Take over franchises? No. But there's only so many of those. There's only so many takeover franchise-type players. But to the injuries of KD and the injury of Klay Thompson, now I think Klay's going to go back to Golden State. There was a report out there that said his dad said that he is going to stay there. And dude, I mean, come on. Klay Thompson is Golden State. It's just as simple as that. Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers, they are what they are. I don't see Klay leaving. But the Kevin Durant injury did move around the question marks on what teams are going to do this offseason. And the Knicks. Just look at the Knicks as a whole. They thought they were going to go get the 1st overall pick with Zion. They get the 3rd. They think they're going to go out and sign Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Kyrie looks like he's on his way to Brooklyn. Kevin Durant goes down with this insane, terrible injury. Now, that doesn't say that the Knicks aren't going to sign him, but they won't have him for next year. And listen, Kevin Durant is worth the max, even though this injury happened. He's worth the max. I read a piece on The Athletic, and there were statistics that show when players come back from specific injuries, what do they drop off? And they say 6% is like the average. 6% about when they come back from an injury like this. Well, take away 6% of Kevin Durant's game healthy. Where does that put him? I mean, where does that put him? Top of the league? Top 5? Yeah, it does. But if the Knicks don't sign him, where are they? Where are they? They're still in this misery. Misery. You can look and say, Kevin Knox, nice player. RJ Barrett, nice player. Do they still have Dennis Smith Jr.? Nice player. That's not going to fill out Madison Square Garden. It's just not. They need to figure out how to get someone here. And it's tough, because if it's only one, it's hard. Just say they're trying to bring Kyrie Irving to Madison Square Garden every night. It would be a lot easier if it's, Kyrie KD like they planned. But to just try and bring someone here now, look at what we got here. Well, what? What do you have here? A rookie in RJ Barrett who seems to have some really solid upside. Kevin Knox, who had a couple of nice games, but some bad games. Dennis Smith Jr., what do you have here? You guys are sort of a laughing stock. So, if they do land a Kevin Durant, and he even sits out a year, that's still easier to try and bring people in. I'm not counting that out. That still is a possibility. But did this injury bring Kevin Durant closer to the Warriors? Does he feel more like a family with the way everything went down, him getting carried off? Does he feel like he has unfinished business in Golden State? I wanted that title. I wanted that title in that 5th chance of the Warriors organization in a row. Does he feel like he needs to go back, return, get the job done for Golden State because everything went down the way it went down? Does he have that extra motivation and passion to do it? These are question marks. And that's why I talk about this so much, but the drama in this league is insane. Because how much one person can change everything. And people hate that. I like it to an extent. I think it's entertaining. I always like to compare hockey to basketball, and I got into a discussion with one of my friends about this, and one player in hockey doesn't change much. And because we were talking about Chuck Fletcher and the Flyers moves. The Flyers made a move where they traded a defenseman for a defenseman. And that's not going to take you to the next level. You need to look at hockey as a whole. Okay, you added 2 forwards, 2 defensemen. Well, does that change your team as a whole? If you change 1 defenseman, does that change everything? No. Is that the reason why you made the run compared to the year before? No. But in basketball, you add Kevin Durant to your team. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here's a finals run. I mean, listen to Lakers fans. You add AD. Finals. Finals. Now, I've said this. To me, it comes down to who they surround LeBron and AD with. That's what it comes down to. But of course, this trade sparked that. But it's funny how the two sports work. It really does. Who won the trade? That's a big discussion everyone always likes to talk about. Who won the trade? I think both teams won. Look at the return the Pelicans got for a guy who was going to leave anyway. And I know I put a ceiling on Ingram. I know I put a ceiling on Hart. But overall, you either lose him and get nothing, or you get this in return. You did pretty good. You did good. But you look at the Lakers. And time will tell if they get a nice, star for their move. Because it comes down to winning a championship ultimately. But speaking of now, and the mindset and the process of why they did the move and moving forward and the opportunity they put themselves in, yeah, I think they did a good job too. They got Anthony Davis to team up with LeBron. When you have LeBron right now, there's one thing on your mind. It's championships. It's not growing the youthful Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and Lonzo Ball. It's not about that. It's not about grooming the 4th overall pick. It's about going to win a title. So I think both teams respectfully made it out to where they wanted to be. I'm excited for the draft to see where everything lines up. I think there's going to be some major trades. I think there's going to be some big wow factors, maybe some Woj bombs, if you will. I think there's going to be a ton of excitement on draft night. I'm obviously excited for where the Sixers go, what they do moving forward. It's going to be an entertaining night. Then you kick off into the Summer League. I love the fact that the NBA has become somewhat year-round. There's a couple down spots here and there, but it's, for the most part, with free agency, the draft, Summer League, the regular season, the finals, it's almost full year around. It really is. I'd say 11 months, maybe 10 and a half months out of the 12. So that's unbelievable. It's awesome. And I'm excited to see where these players go. See, I even like Summer League. I know that sounds silly, but you watch Zion Williamson get drafted. You don't think I'm going to watch him play in Summer League? And I know, if you're a Sixers fan, Furkan Korkmaz drops, 40-something plus in Summer League, and that means nothing in the NBA, and you're totally right. But you still like to see them play individually and see if they can pass the eye test for some of these top prospects. Do they just take over the Summer League as a raw player, or do they look like they're just somewhat getting comfortable and getting the feel out there? Do the nerves look like they get to them? I'm entertained by it. I'm entertained by it. That's right. I'm entertained by the Summer League. Call me crazy, but everyone does. Everyone does. So thank you for listening to another Sports Talk with Broads podcast. These have done very well so far, and I can only thank you guys so much. I mean, I love everyone. I love all the support. It's absolutely tremendous. I can't put it into words. I hope I said that first sentence right. It sounded funny to me. I can't thank you guys enough, is what I was getting at. The support is insane. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoy the NBA draft. that's coming up this week. Go Sixers, baby. I wish I could dance to the Sixers win song. It's been so long, but you got to wait for the right time. You got to wait for the right time.